What's up, people? How we doing? 9:30 Israeli time, 8:30 German time. I think it's 1:30 Eastern time. Got a really, really good one coming for you today. Getting Benji Kugel on the line, former fitness trainer, physical trainer for the World Cup champions of Germany. He's now coaching the Israeli national team as a fitness trainer. He runs his own business. He's coached as well at Werder Bremen, at FC Köln. He's a highly touted individual, a guy I really look up to. I actually read his book in German. I used to play in Germany, I think many of you guys know. I read his book, Fit wie die Mannschaft, when I was in Germany, in German. So when I met the guy, I'm going to tell a little story about how I met him, or I think I'm going to wait till he hops on. Yeah, so basically how I met Benji is one of my good friends, plays over here in Israel in Netanya. His name's Meszut Ozil. His birthday, it was his birthday, and he was having a little get-together, a little dinner. He's coming on now, so I'll tell you.
Hey Benji, what's up, man?
Hey, all good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks so much for taking the time to come on. I really appreciate it.
Sure, an honor. Let's go.
Yeah, so if you can, just introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and just basically a little bit about yourself just to get started, it'd be great.
All right, so I just heard that you were starting to explain how we met each other. So
Yeah.
let's start it from there. So yes, actually now with my consultant agency, Fast Forward Football, I'm working for several clubs and federations. One of them is the Israel Federation for soccer. And so I happen to be in Israel once in a while, which is good. I
Yeah,
really like it. Beautiful
for sure.
country, really, really nice people. So I think we both met at his birthday party because one of my friends, Roman Golobar, he played in Israel. Now he moved to Cyprus. And I had a night off. I could go out of the team hotel for one night for a dinner, and so we met there and we just talked, and we found out that we were both working in the same theme and the same things, and so we talked and kept the connection since then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so back from there, I have been working with my company over the last 2 years for, like I said, different clubs. So what we do actually is that we help clubs and federations to organize and structurize the performance department give them an outside view, do a status quo analysis, and then help them to try to make things a little more efficient, better communication flows, things like that.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right. Before that, I have been working for several clubs in the German Bundesliga. I've worked for FC Cologne for 4 years, Werder Bremen another 4 years, which already was in 2008 till 2012. I've worked for Red Bull Salzburg in Austria for 1 year, and I have worked 8 years for the German national team, of which 4 of them I was working like in a leading position. Hey, Jair, how are you, man? Like in a leading position after my good colleague Shed Forsyth, who was head of performance for the German national team for a long time. He moved after the World Cup 2014. He moved to Arsenal, and so I kind of became the lead. I had the lead then, and so the last 4 years I was trying to organize things for Exos, actually, where I also met Coach Jair a few years ago. And long story short, this is where I'm from. This is what I did over the last 13 years in soccer, and here we go, sitting at home, same like you guys, like everybody out there listening to us, and yeah, trying to find my way through this in my job and also with the family.
For sure. And like I said, I really appreciate having you on. And just to take the listeners back, just connecting the story, like I said, you know, I came, I think a lot of my listeners know I played football in Germany for 3 years, so I speak a little bit of German. And I remember one night I came out for Nico Olsak's birthday, and you were sitting there. And I walk in, and we introduced ourselves, and I know how Germans speak English. I
take that as a compliment.
Not a stereotype, but it's like when I hear people's English from Italy, I know they're from Italy. You know what I mean?
I can tell I speak German English totally.
Yeah, I remember your comment. And I had heard before from a good friend's dad, because I told him, because I play in Israel in the 3rd league, and he told I told him that I, you know, had been certified as a trainer for Exos. He told me to meet up with a couple people in Israel. And then he said, you know, since you played in Germany, you know, Yann Benjamin Kugel is the fitness trainer for Israel. And I was like, you know what? I think I read that guy's book. And then I went back into my memory glossary, and I remember buying the book, Fit wie die Mannschaft.
There's not so much to read anyway, because it's a lot of pictures.
Yeah,
I made it easy for myself writing a book.
Exactly. So I remember picking it up in Bremen, and I read it. You know, I literally went through it within one day. I loved it. German, read through it in German. I knew it was going to help me with the terms in German, so that's another part of the reason I bought it. And then when I saw you there that day speaking, I was like, wait a minute. This guy, I tried to connect things, like this guy's speaking German, you know, he's speaking English, but he sounds like he's from Germany. I was like, let me ask him where he's from. And then you said you were from Germany, and you're like, yeah, and I hope you didn't notice that I'm from Germany just by my English. And that's kind of how we connected, you know. So it was great meeting you. And like I said, I'm happy to have you on here. I mean, you've been at the top, so it's a real honor.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, no, totally. And for me also, like I said, I followed your work since we met there. I saw all the things you did on your channels, and I really think there's a lot of good stuff out there that you're putting there, like giving to people, and I really like it, man. Like I think you're doing great things, like helping people out there to move better, to like work on their skills. So I really like it.
I appreciate that. It's a huge compliment coming from you. And like I always try to tell people, and I'm sure you can agree, I think we spoke about it that night, like I think football, like they come at it as an approach, you know, since there's a lot of money in the game, especially at high levels. I'm sure you can, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like football really needs to look more into a player as a real human, as a person. Like a player has emotions, he's got a soul. He's not just a robot. And, you know, there are robots out there like Ronaldo, Messi, you know, those guys. But, you know, I like coming at the game from a holistic approach, from, you know, what you do, you know, how you sleep at night, and then what you do in the morning, and how you eat. And, you know, as I'm a huge guy into Exos, it's basically what they preach, like that whole system, you know, the pillars of, you know, mindset, movement, nutrition, and recovery. And I feel like if football, younger footballers listening now are hearing this, and something that I always try to preach is like, you know, you're only on that pitch, you're only in that gym for about 3 to 4 hours in the day. What are you doing the other 20 hours? I think, you know, especially on Instagram nowadays, showing sexy exercises, kicking the ball in the water and getting the net. It's fun and it's sexy, it's clickbait. But is it really helping the footballer? So like you said, I'm trying to preach and put out practical information.
Yeah. So what I think, Rick, is that You totally hit a very important point there, and I think that over the years that I have been working with professional soccer players, and I'm not like blaming anyone for that, because it's also part of their like education, because already when they're young and you're like a talented guy, you're coming to like um, a academy or something, and then all of a sudden there is people around you that taken away a lot of decisions from you. So the only
Yes.
way, the only place where you have to take decisions is on the pitch. So this is one point what I really like try to preach, or to preach sounds like try to give an advice to young players is like, try to make decisions in your life, to make better decisions on the pitch, like learn how to make decisions, because decision-making process is something you have to learn, and then take the responsibility for your decisions. And if so young people taking away the responsibility for your decisions, you will never really learn how to do it. I mean, for sure, it's hard to compare a decision where to pass a ball, or like, should I go to sleep now and stop playing FIFA on the screen? It's a different thing, but it's about a mindset, like you said. And then the next point, which I think we are on the path which leads towards there, is that soccer players have to be athletes. And to be an athlete, if you look around in other sports, I think how many like athletes know so much about the things you're talking about, nutrition, like how does the muscle work, what do I do after an injury, all these kind of things. Like, please ask some soccer players, like professional soccer players out there, to tell you how a contraction of a muscle works. Like, I would say rarely 5% can answer that question. And I think if you then look into triathlon or other sports, even handball or whatever, like the guys, because they have to take the responsibility for their sport because it's their profession. Sure, you know? So I think this is something, and this is what I like also about your content, that you're giving not only advice to, okay, this is what you do, but you're also talking about like, why? Like, and always ask this question, why? Like, it's the most important questions in the life of an athlete.
Yeah,
why?
For sure. And I remember, you know, going through the exos, how they always emphasize it. And just like you said, it's like, as an athlete myself, it's like, it really helps me it really helps me as a coach as well, being in that shoes, you know, now. And just like you said, you know, everything starts in the mind. It's like, whether you're going to do something or not, it starts in the mind. And I think, just like you said, some of the most, like I try to preach to younger guys, is like the most important thing, like you said, is like being able to make the right decision at the right time. And like you said, we're not even, you know, talking about on the football pitch. That comes with experience. But being able to decipher, like you said, is it a good decision? If you have training tomorrow at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., you have to be up at 7:38. You got to get good fuel. And should you play an hour more of FIFA, or should you kind of develop yourself more? And I'm really big on habits, as I'm sure you are. You know, should you develop more of a recharge habit before you go to sleep? Like, should you dedicate yourself 10 minutes of foam rolling, 10 minutes of stretching to down-regulate the system without getting too sciencey, getting you more into a parasympathetic state, getting you ready for rest, getting you ready for the session the next day, which over time, if you sleep better, you perform better that session, over time, you're going to increase your performance. Maybe you're not going to, for example, if you play FIFA, you go to sleep, you get up, maybe you do play as well as you would if you went to sleep an hour earlier. But like, I'm huge on like thinking long term, making short term decisions to benefit you in the long term. So getting that 20 minutes of recovery and the stretching and the foam rolling to down regulate the system, get your eyes off of the blue light, and really respect the bedroom. I'm not trying to talk, people can have sick minds here, but really respect the bedroom as a place of rest and relaxation, which will make you more prepared the next day for your gym session and your football session.
Totally. No, totally agree. And also in regards of like relaxation for your mind, if we look a little bit like deeper into what happens if you're on a screen, if it's your computer or like your PlayStation or your mobile phone, what happens is that if you have only the possibility to view, like to look in a short distance, your sympathetic system is always active. This is because of certain nerves that are activated when you have like a short vision. So what you got to do before you go to sleep is definitely try to get a longer vision. So like look out of your window. In your case, you have the beautiful sea in front of yourself. So like get like 5 to 10 minutes of a wider view to activate your parasympathetic system, which brings you down, which makes you calm, which like relax your mind. And a little bit off the topic, but I'm working also with esports. I'm playing training or like being head of performance for a professional esport team. And this is something that we do with these guys because they're in front of the screens for like 5 to 6 hours. So in their facility, we had them open the roof with windows, and then we had them put their massage seats where they are like facing the roof, and they can look outside because we found out that they had big problems with deep belly breathing and things like this because of their sympathetic system being so hyperactive all the time. So there is some connections between that. And if you come back to professional soccer players, and I think the topic of gaming is definitely something we should talk about because almost every soccer player does it. And it's okay, like let's do it. It's fun, but you really, like you said, have to have your certain habits and remember on like where you make your money. It's on the pitch and what you've chosen to be a professional athlete, so behave like that and have habits like one, right?
For sure. And I think that's a really interesting topic that you bring up, and it's something I often get a question about. It's like, people ask me about like a certain cliche bad habit, and for example, they'll say, what do you think of footballers playing video games? And for me, it's like, I'm all about discipline. I'm all about getting your work done and doing the right things at all times. But like you said, it's perfectly okay to go enjoy, an hour or two of FIFA with your boys. That actually is going to put you, if we want to get more into neurotransmitters and things like that, that's going to put you into a more of a positive mind state, releasing dopamine and things like that, feel-good hormones while you're laughing with your boys, which is going to kind of also drop your nervous system a little bit. But like we both know, you have to pick the right times. And I'm a big guy on like, because I love working, like, I learned it a lot from Germany and the structure and, getting things done. And big quote I love is discipline equals freedom by Jocko Willink. It's like, if you're disciplined, like I always talk about, like people ask me, they see I work pretty hard and, do you watch Netflix? Do you eat ice cream? I'm like, yeah, I do. But I use it as a reward. So if I got what I needed to do during the day, I'm a big checklist guy. And I feel like I did what I needed to do. I love kicking myself up on the couch, putting the feet on the chair and watching it, 30 minutes to an hour of a Netflix show, before sleep, and then trying to downregulate the system like we talked, maybe with more deep breathing. But there's also a point where it's like you can get too strict where I used to be. And it's like, that's how I kind of relate to some people, like good work, but smart, like hard work, but smart work.
Totally. Yeah. I like that quote. And I think with the experience over the years also it's the same like with kids. Like I have kids, I have 3 kids. So what do I teach them? Like, sure, there is certain rules, there is certain habits, there is certain structure we have to follow, but for sure you have to also teach them that there is times where you can like break the rules. There is times where you can step out of your like regular structure and do something different. It's also important, I think. Absolutely. Again, it's also about decision making. Like, okay, I do know how to do that. I have done it so often. Okay, now I'm gonna allow myself that or that. Like you said, I like the reward thing also. Like, I'm not like strict all the time, but you gotta work on your habits, and then you can always try to like find exceptions and say, okay, now I'm going for this or for that or for a beer or whatever.
Exactly. And it's like it's kind of like the 80-20 rule within nutrition that I like. It's, you know, if you're eating, if you have, for example, 7 days a week, 3 meals in a day, just to be generic, you have 21 meals, and 2 of those meals, you know, for me, it's about 80% of your meals should be related to your goals. 20% can be what you love. And like we talked about, like after a hard game, after a nice 3 points with the boys, go out, enjoy yourself a couple beers, have some pizza. It's not gonna really kill you.
I just have to say hello to Alan. Oi, Alan, tudo bem? Rapaz, não falamos muito tempo. Que alegria ver você aqui, rapaz. He's a former player of mine. You know Alan Carvalho? He played in Red Bull Salzburg when I was there, and then actually he had a bad. Sorry to get off the topic a little bit.
No, I like getting off topic. It's fun, yeah.
Really great guy, great athlete, and he had a torn ACL twice, one after the other, and really suffered, and also suffered from the way, it's about culture, I think. He really suffered from the way they were like approaching rehab back there in Austria, putting him on a bike for like 2-3 hours every day, like having this structure. But he's Brazilian, like he gotta do fun things. Like even though his fucking ACL is torn, like he has to do some fun things. So I happened to be there, and I do speak Portuguese, so we had a really good connection. And after a while, I went to the head coach and also to the CEO, and I was like, guys, we got to send him to anywhere where he can like do a good rehab. So we sent him to Los Angeles, to Exos actually. I flew with him. We brought him there. He made with Coach Jair, who also was live. I don't know if he still is. He made his rehab back in LA with Coach Jair. And I think it was one of the most important decisions in his career to do that step. And then he went to China, has a great career there, and a great player. Yeah.
For sure. No, I tuned into one of your lives. Yeah, I think it was yesterday, and I heard you speaking Portuguese. I was like, God damn, this man's on another level. So yeah, I kind of want to take listeners back. I think it's a really important topic to talk about towards the, you know, working with Germany and winning the World Cup in 2014. If you could take us back, you know, take us through what you were doing with Germany. Yeah, just like to hear some stories.
Sure. Okay. Obrigado, Alan. I haven't been talking with him for a while, so I think he's in Brazil now. All right, so yeah, let's go back to Brazil perhaps. So, but I started in 2010 with the German national team. I was performance coach for Werder Bremen at that time. If you look back in 2008, 2009, Werder Bremen was a Champions League team. Wow. So it was number 2 in Germany at that time. So we had some really good players: Per Mertesacker, Naldo, Diego, Meszut Ozil. After a while, I think in 2009, he came to join the team. So it was a great team. And our central defender, Per Mertesacker, who was with the German national team already, one day came to me and he was like, hey, look, I think like the work you're doing, I like it. I think it's good. So I've been talking to our head coach from the German national team, and they're looking for a third guy from the performance department to go to South Africa to the World Cup. I was like, wow, man, that's a great opportunity. So yeah, like applied. like I'm in, all in. And there were three guys, I think, in the lottery, and Shed Forsyth, of whom I was talking before, came to visit me in Bremen, like looked my work a little bit. We went out, we talked a lot, had a good conversation. And after 2 weeks or something, he called me and was like, hey, you're going with us to South Africa as the third performance guy. It's going to be only for that tournament, but whatever. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, yeah, we're going with the German national team there. And it was a very young team at that time, if you look back. So our goal with the German national team in 2010 in South Africa was to like because every tournament you have that one like surprising team. And there were no big expectations in Germany. So guys, yeah, you gotta ask questions. Like, Rick, are you taking notes of the questions, or like how you want to answer them later on, or what's your like habit on that?
Kind of more. I'm just listening to what you say, writing the important things down, and when I hear something important, I want to maybe touch on it a bit later.
Okay. So keep on asking questions, guys, and we'll try to hit the answers later on, or perhaps they're already in our conversation. Just keep on listening. All right. So, yeah, back then in South Africa, so the team was very young. Meszut Ozil played his big tournament, first big tournament. Jerome Boateng, Thomas Müller, all these guys played the first big tournament. And I think what I've learned from this World Cup and also the World Cup in 2014, if I take it all together, I will talk about more stories in detail. But one thing definitely is that if you find a way to buy into the culture of the country where the big tournament happens, is a big step already, because then you feel home after a while, because you're there for a long time. And before you plan a World Cup or like a big tournament, you don't think about these things. But it's a learning, I think, after one and another tournament in South Africa. It was crazy because the whole staff of the hotel, every time when we arrived after a game, like at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, the whole staff was like dancing and singing for us. And man, like you had to see the players, like they were dancing and like singing. And so we had like, we took a part of the South African culture and made it ours. And then in the team bus, when we drove to games, we had a song called Shosholoza, which is like Soto, which is one of the languages they speak in South Africa. And so we listened to that song in the bus. So it was kind of our motivation song. So things like that, I think. We can talk about exercises, we can talk about good food and all these things, but this is written in all the books, and everybody can like, which is good, can go for that information. But I think if you look into like the little details that make perhaps the difference, this is something what I think is very interesting. So in this tournament, we happened to be third in the end, which for us was a big, a big success. And also for Germany, because like the people back here, they were not expecting us to win the title or something like that. And then we're coming back to like, you got to set goals. And our goal there was not to win the title. Like we wouldn't have said no, but in the end, the goal was to be the surprising team of the tournament, which then like in the media, they're writing Germany, like doing great things with young players, things like that, right? So, and then coming to, then there was the Euro in between. We were hit hard by Balotelli. This was 2012 in the semifinals. It was this situation where he put off the shirt and like did this move. Wow, that was hard. It was really tough. If I compare to 10 and to 12 in regards of the mindset and also the emotions that we had as a team, there is a difference. It wasn't the same like feeling of one team, we together in this country, like doing special things, but still it was great. And then in 2014, it was really from the first day, like we are going there to win the title. So everything was planned towards the final. So another detail, for example, was that the pitch, so we went to a place called Campo Bahia, which was in the southeast of, northeast, sorry, of Brazil. And the campo was in the middle of nowhere, like in the woods. We had to take, from the airport, we had to take a bus, we had to take a ferry boat with the bus over like a river delta. And then we came to that place, which was really like in a really small neighborhood, Brazilian neighborhood. And we had like a place where we had different huts. Every hut had 5 beds in it for 5 guys. So it became kind of a youth hostel atmosphere there instead of a 5-star hotel thing, which all the players are used to 5-star hotels. So I think this kind of pulled them out of the comfort zone, you know? So in a very good way, like being on a little ferry boat. I don't know if I can share pictures here. I don't know, but next time, whatever, like being on a ferry boat in the middle of like the jungle, and like for these guys, I think it was something very special. It's something special for everybody, but it really pulled them out of the comfort zone. And then coming to Campo Bahia, like I said, like a little nice place on the sea, youth hostel atmosphere, everything open air. We ate all together, open air, and all these kind of things. And then we drove to the pitch, and here is another detail: the pitch had the same grass and the same direction, so like the Maracanã Stadium, where we were going to play the final. So it was all planned. Like Jogi Löw, when they made the decision, he wanted it to be built exactly like the pitch we're going to play the final on.
Unbelievable. Wow.
So the first day we came on that pitch with the team, everybody, like, we arrived, good sleep, everybody a little tired, first balls on the pitch, and then Yogi called everybody together and he was like, okay guys, like, let's have fun today because it's the first day, we don't want injuries, but I want you to be aware of one thing. You're in the Maracanã Stadium now, every fucking day. And we're gonna train here for the tournament, but not for the tournament itself. We're going to train here for the final. We're going to win that final. And this was so strong. I mean, man, you can talk about things, and it gives me goosebumps if I talk about it now, because these are the things you read in every motivation book, right? But if you really like do these things and then you see the reactions and you feel it, that's great. And these are the details that I think are very important.
For sure.
I could talk hours about it.
No, just to point some things out.
Yeah.
Point some things out that I really, really love is, first of all, this is what I love playing in Germany, and I could go back to Golabart's interview real quick, but just about how Germans really pay attention to the detail. And I think, that performance is this, especially at the highest level, is decided on this bit of a margin. And like you said right there, just the details. I remember Golabart said on his when I had him on the podcast the other day, he was saying how he loved Germany and wanted to really experience Germany because he knew how into the details they really were and all about structure. And he gave an example which I clearly can relate to. When he was at Köln, they wanted to train at 10 o'clock instead of 8 because the grass was fresher and it wasn't frozen. And it's those little details that are fascinating. And just like you said there, I actually had a chat with Darcy Norman. He was with you guys in 2014, right?
Yeah.
So he sent me a whole, great guy. He sent me a whole Exos presentation. And I when you said the huts, I visualized it. I was like, I saw the huts, and
wow, yeah, I know which presentation he sent you. I know
it was just like, we leave at this time, and it's like, we leave at 8, we eat at 10. It's like everything is planned out, everything is detailed, and just like you said, I feel like wherever you go, whether you're in your home country or in another country, like you said, you got to buy into the culture and you got to make yourself at home, because that's not really real. Like we talked about, it's not written in science books. Like these things, like being able to try to learn the language a little bit, doing, the things that locals do and trying to fit in and assimilate to the culture makes you feel more at home, which will make you feel more comfortable and have more confidence within the unit.
Totally. Yeah, totally agree. And yeah, also like when I started to work as head of performance for the Israeli national team, well, man, it's not an easy situation for the guys that have been working there for like 20 years or 5 years or whatever. Then there's this German guy coming and like telling you what to do, and this is not how I approach the things. Like,
for sure.
I try, like you said, like I tried to, like, I was here at home. I knew, okay, I'm going to work with the medical and performance department of the Israeli national team. I'm trying to like restructure a little bit, like, but first of all, you have to like look and see, okay, what's going on? What are they doing? Like observe. And then the second thing for me is like, be fucking kind, like show them respect. First of all, like they don't have to know what you've done before, how many medals you have around your neck. It doesn't matter. Like you're a human, they're a human. So be nice and really try to like give them huge respect. And so I tried to learn some Hebrew before I went there, and it was really great. It was just some words, right?
Yeah,
but
just some.
I think just this opened so much for me in terms of open arms and, hey guy, you're welcome because you're giving us respect. And then also the Jewish culture, the Jewish religion, like just taking part in everything. Like when it was Shabbat, I was doing the things like they did. I was asking a lot, like, okay, what do you do next? Can I take part? And so I think like this, and it's also a big learning for me, because I'm so happy and so honored to be part of that team. And so yeah, I think this is something special. And then you can start, because then you gain their trust, you gain their like belief, and they think, okay, this guy is not here to just like from above tell us what to do. He's here like this. And then now let's talk about, okay, what have we done before? What do you think we can do better? And let's work on it. And this is exactly what I think what really helps. And when I come back to Exos and we talked about Darcy and the German national team, the guy that founded Exos, formerly Athletes Performance, was Mark Verstegen. And this is something with Mark, I really appreciate, and I think he's such a great person, because when I was in 2010, like I told you, with the German national team in South Africa, Mark joined the team, I think 1 week after we started. So Mark came there, and I was like, wow, like I'm going to be on the pitch with Mark Verstegen. Like I've learned all the Exos methodology, and like he's a guru for me. I don't like the word guru anyways, but he's a great coach, probably one of the best coaches out there. And like then he came to me and I was like, hey, I'm Mark, like Benji, like nice to meet you in person finally. Tell me, what can I do? I was like, what? I thought you were going to tell me what I'm going to do now, because like you know. And I was like, well, okay, look, this is the exercise I've planned. Like, okay, like I'll bring the water for the guys. I'm like, wow, okay, so you want me to coach, and you're just bringing water? Yeah, sure, man. You're here since 1 week. Like, I'm just helping out. And this was something I was like, wow, this is such an amazing approach of like a team, and how do you work with each other, and respect to my person. It also put me under a lot of pressure, because now he was watching what I was doing. So, but yeah, this is something I think this kind of like humble and professionalism. It's something that really can help you on your way as a coach in the professional world of sports.
For sure. Some really key points there, and I kind of want to take people back to I think I did the Exos performance mentorships. I did them in Germany actually, and the first one that I did was coached by Scott Peary. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he works. I think he was working with Everton. Worked with a team in Brazil. So, like you said, he had different cultures, and like you said there, which I want to point out to people listening, coaches, players, especially, is like you said, number one, just being a good guy. Going in, it's simple advice, but it's good advice. Like you said, being a good guy. Going in, like we said, trying to assimilate to the culture and be friendly to guys and really learn about people and the culture, and being a lifelong learner, whether you're a footballer or a coach, just always wanting to learn, whether it's about performance or it's about a culture or a religion.
Totally.
Like you said, that it hits home with people. It hits the heart, and they say to themselves, like, man, this guy really wants to be here. He wants to be part of this. Like you said from the beginning, buying in. He wants to buy into the culture, and he's not coming here and giving us orders. He wants to instead discuss and try to, smooth things out and help us out. And like you said, once you get that trust and that buy-in from whether they're your teammates or your employees, I think is everything.
Yeah, totally agree. So yeah, I think this is something I really learned, and also when I started in soccer as a performance coach, I think also one of the biggest mistakes that I did in the beginning, because I tried to be someone in front of these like players with, I don't know how many caps they had at the time when I was 28, coming to Werder Bremen, standing in front of them, and I was like, whoa, so I have to like behave like I be another person, and which is normal, and it's a natural mistake that you probably do as a young guy standing in front of a group of players, where you think like, oh my God, like I was never a big soccer fan, which really helped me, I think. Because I never had that like fanboy moments with them. But still, that they're like, okay, they're professional athletes and they've done a lot of things. There's a lot of people looking up to them. So yeah, I think it's very important that you try to find your way, like how you want to approach your athletes, all the people around and the staff when you happen to work in a team and not as a personal trainer. It's very important. And what really helps you, and this is one of the most important advices, is like, as you enter the door of the locker room, leave your ego outside. Like if there is a shelf or something where you can put it, leave it there. Like try to go with the smallest ego that you can imagine into that room, and it will really help you.
For sure. So I really want to get on to that, but we're at 43 minutes. I don't want it to cut out. I don't want to drop it back on my live. So let's end it here and then get back on. You have 15 more minutes?
Sure.
I want to get into how you got into football and things like that.
Okay. Let's do that. So you're going to end now and then go live again, and I will call in again.
For sure. I'm going to end it, post it to the story, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Okay.
Cool, man. Cool.
Hope you people are really enjoying this interview. Really great insights, whether you're a player, performance coach, whatever you do, there's a lot to take out of this. Appreciate all your guys' support. Leon Tias, hope you're doing well, my man. Appreciate you guys. I'm happy I helped you push your limits, brother. I really, I'm happy about that.
All right, man, we're back.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, so the first thing I wanted to start off with, I love that advice that you gave when we finished. You know, whether you're a footballer or a performance coach. I remember when I first took the Exos exam, the Exos mentorship and study with them. The most impressive thing from them, like you said, you know, you go in there, you hear about Mark Verstegen, you hear about all the top pro teams they coach. And the first thing they said before every mentorship was, whoever you are, we don't care. Leave your ego outside, bring an empty cup in, try to fill it up as much as possible, go back out, dump it out, save it, of course, and then come back in. And I think, like you said from a couple points before, just being a humble guy and you know, walking into Nico Olsak's, you know, house that night, and those guys are all true professionals, yourself, and you can see all you guys just exemplify being humble, no matter what you've done. And I try to take that with me as well, you know, just being a nice guy and being kind. And, you know, it's of course, people want to know about your accomplishments, but over time, you don't want to go in there right away and brag about this and brag about that, because like you said, that demonstrates a character that you don't really want other people to think of you as.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
And what I wanted to also ask you is, you know, I want to get back into the, you know, how did you get into football? How did you get into performance coaching? What made you interested in becoming a performance coach? Kind of, if you could take us through that a little bit.
Sure. All right. So myself, I was a handball player. I played handball, and I was more or less good. I made it to the third league here in Germany. I then started to study sports science at the German Sports High School. Actually, I always wanted to be a doctor, but my high school degree was not good enough. So in Germany, I don't know how it is in Israel and in the States, but
it's not
you have
easy
to have a certain degree to enter the medicine university. So my degree was too bad, and I decided to go to Brazil. I lived in Brazil for a year. I did my social service there. In Germany, you can choose. Now we don't have military service anymore, but in Germany, at that time when I was 18, I could choose between social service or military service. Mm-hmm. So I chose to do social service, and I went to Brazil, and I worked in a organization that helped kids from the street. And I organized little sport activities for them. Nothing big, nothing serious, but this is what I did there. I came back and I figured that the time I have spent there was not counting on my degree as I was thinking before. I thought that I'm going for 1 year and they will kind of count it and it will pull down my degree towards the degree that I needed to go to the medicine university, but it didn't. It was my mistake because any forms I didn't fill out. I don't know what the heck I did wrong. At that age, you're lost, like you do with 18. Okay, yeah, whatever.
Exactly.
I'm going to Brazil. All right, so I came back and I decided to apply for sports science. Then we have a test that you have to do. I went through it. I was very, very slow at that time. I remember you could have one error, you have to do different things to apply for the German Sports High School. One of them was running 100 meters under 13.2, which is pretty slow. I ran 30.1. So I don't know what happened that day, but it was unbelievably bad. So whatever, just came to my mind. I think it's a funny thing. Because I'm preaching this is how you get faster, blah, blah, blah. I'm so fucking slow. Whatever. So I went to the German sport high school. I studied sports science for 4 years. And besides studying, I started to work as a personal trainer. But I found, and I was happy to have within my wider family two professional canoeists, like doing canoe, you know? And they asked me if I wanted to coach them in regards of strength. So I started to do strength work with them, and I really found out that, wow, this, like, I worked with normal people also, but I found like, wow, this is what I want to do, because it's something so special to help these guys reaching their goals.
For sure.
Also, you help normal people to reach goals also, but it was something that really touched me. So I was like, okay, I want to, like, this is what I want to do. So I tried to find more athletes that I could train, and I trained them for free. And at the same time, because like, and you know that, like, when we're not in soccer, we're with canoe or with like track and field athletes. They don't can afford like a personal training for $50 an hour 5 times a week. It's not possible. They don't make so much money. So my thing was that I was like trying to learn with them and train them for free, and at the same time I had my clients where I had my good fee that I took for an hour, made my money there, and made my like education or experience on the other side. So this is how I started. And then when I finished studies, I went to Spain. I studied, I was done with studies, I had my degree. I went to Spain with my wife and my 1-year-old daughter at that time, on the Canary Islands. And I did personal training there, but the reason why I went there, I trained a triathlete there, because it's a nice place for triathlon training. And then, and this was really coincidence, but this is how life sometimes is, I met the CEO of Werder Bremen.
Wow. Doing
holiday there. And so I saw him walking around, and I knew him because he's a very well-known former player in Germany, national team player also. And he walked around there, and I knew that he always had big knee issues. So I went there and I took all my courage, and I went there and I said, okay, do you mind if I do a session with you, like to try to work on your knee a little bit? And he was like, man, yeah, like this is really something I should work on, because like I've been focusing on selling and buying players and things like that, but I've never focused on my health for like 15 years. So let's do it. I'm on holidays, so yeah, I want to do it. And we kept on like working, and I think he kind of liked it. We got into a good conversation, and after his holidays, he said to me, okay, look, we in Bremen, we actually are looking for somebody who does strength and conditioning for our team, but I cannot just like get you from here, because there is a lot of people that are applying for that job. So I want you to write like a thesis, how you would approach the work with them. And I was like, okay, wow, this is probably once in a lifetime chance. He went away, I wrote it, he gave me his card, I sent it to him, heard nothing. And this is something you have to get used to in soccer also. People don't get back to you. It sucks so much.
Is that just in football, or is that?
I hate it so much. I don't know, but it's crazy. Like, yeah, sure. Like, we're getting back to you within the next week. Nothing. 1 week more. Nothing. You write an email. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we were nothing. Like, okay, just like, don't count with it. Like, if you happen to find a situation where you may have the chance as a coach to make it to a team, you have to really push it, like step on their nerves, like every day, like try to, because they have so many things that they're doing, and this is something I have to say I don't like so much about the soccer world, is that, I don't know the word in English actually, that they're not like taking these things so serious. You know, I don't know the word in English, but whatever. So what happened is that after 4 months, I got a phone call. I was still on the Canary Islands with my family, eating an ice cream. I got a phone call, and a guy with a voice I've never heard before said to me, "Oh, look, I'm the head coach of Werder Bremen. I want to get to know you. How fast can you get here?" And at the first moment, I was thinking it was one of my friends making fun with me, because for sure I told them about the whole story. Appreciate it. Thank you, Anne. That's the word I was looking for. She's an English teacher. She studied with me also.
Okay. Wow.
Danke, Anne. So, all right. So I went there. And so first thing, I thought that it was like a friend of mine making fun with me, but he was real. So we talked for about an hour, and he invited me to come to Bremen. I drove home to my wife. I was like, "Fuck, I'm going to Bremen. Okay, big chance." I went there and never went back. My wife just packed everything back on the Canary Islands, and again we moved to Bremen, and this is where it all started.
Wow.
So yeah, it was coincidence or whatever. Like, you never know what and when things are happen like that. But yeah, I think
for sure
you have to, if there is a chance, if we want to talk about takeaway messages again for the people listening to us, I think if you're a young coach and you see a chance of like getting into the position that you want, you gotta like really like take it and try to fight for it. And like don't stop. Like, even though the first or the second chance doesn't work, don't stop. Like, believe and keep on working. And then perhaps another thing, because I think you have to be realistic. If you look into the world of soccer, and there is so many strength and conditioning coaches out there that are dreaming of that that job in the professional world of soccer, I think be ready for your opportunity. Yeah, right. This is what you posted yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna just say just now.
Yeah, you have to be ready. You have to be prepared for that one moment. This is what I was going to say. But on the other hand side, I also want to be realistic, because there is not so many spots or slots out there in the world of soccer, and there is a lot of people that want to get in there. So you gotta have a dream, but also like don't stick with it if you feel like you're not going to make this one. Have a plan B. I think this is something. There might be people out there that say, you have that plan, you got to go for it forever, like stick with your plan, bam, bam, bam. I'm not so sure if this is going always to work, because you got to have a good plan B, I think, which also could be a very nice, a once in a lifetime thing, and a big opportunity. Yeah.
For sure. No, I want to point out two things from what you're saying. I mean, I always joke around with friends, you know, in the world of football, like you said, communication is not great, you know, if we want to be polite. And I kind of like to tell friends, it's like when you're trying to, you know, network with a team, it's kind of like you're trying to flirt with a girl who's out of your league. If you're really that interested in her, obviously you got to be persistent. You know, it's a simple example that you can relate to other dudes. And then the second thing, I really appreciate, I don't want to mispronounce your name, but I appreciate you posting that. I actually just posted this today. Being prepared for the opportunity, being ready. Like you just said, I mean, that story that you shared, first of all, I also want to point out to listeners, just the ability to drop that ego and work for free with those canoers, those high performers, to see and kind of test out your methods, allowed you step by step to get to Werder Bremen. And when you saw the Werder Bremen, the CEO, yes, the CEO, and you knew about him and you did your research, you're prepared. It's not like you talked about, you got to have a dream, but you also got to be prepared for it. You can't have a huge dream and not work for it and have that knowledge behind it. And that's like a lot of young guys and girls, like they have dreams, but you know, it's cliche, but like you said from the example with Joachim Low about, you know, the motivation books, and this you actually felt, and like you actually have to be practical about it and do things to prepare yourself when that opportunity does come.
Yeah, right. Perhaps to end that, Rick, one thing that many people ask me is that when was the moment in the World Cup final, or the day, or which day do you felt like you're going to make it? And I do remember the day when we woke up in Rio de Janeiro, the day of the final, and the mood was very good, easy, relaxed. In a way, I was like, it was perhaps too relaxed to play a World Cup final that day within the whole team. We went there, we played the final. I don't know if you remember the final, but we went into overtime. And again, about like believing and about like passion. We went into overtime. The referee blew the whistle. We had overtime, so we had a little break where we gave them like some gels and stuff like that. And then our captain, Philipp Lahm, stepped into the middle, and he's not a guy of big words, but he stepped into the middle and he was like, guys, there is no way we're going to lose that game. I know we're going to win today. They're done. Like, we have more in the tanks. Like, we're winning it. Go for it. And again, like, you can say that like as an empty, like with empty words, or you can say it with all your like belief and your trust. And the way he told that to the team, we were on the bench, and like everybody on the bench was like, nothing can happen to us. Nothing can happen to us today. We are going to win that title. And when we won it, it was just like, we went nuts. It was just crazy. But I always remember that moment when Philipp said that to the team, because it was so strong. I can't, like, I don't know. It was crazy. And it was just one of these moments where you feel like, okay, well, fuck, yes, he's right. We're winning it. Whatever happens. So yeah, it's a very special atmosphere that you have to create in these moments. And he was able to do that, and he felt it with all his heart, and he gave it to the team. It was so inspiring. And I think this is also something, again, perhaps as the last thing, as a coach, you have to inspire people. You have to like open your heart, open your mind, open your soul for the guy that you're training or for the team that you're training, and really try to get into them and get their buy-in. And I think you get it with dedication, with when you love what you do.
Exactly.
But you're also humble. You can be tired. You're a human. Like like I said, leave your ego outside. Go in there, do your best, and yeah, you will not always succeed, but on the long end, it will help you to make your way.
And I know I love to talk a lot, but I gotta chime on that a little bit. I just want to say, like, I talked with another good friend today who's also a passionate footballer as well as a coach. And we were talking about it, and we were talking about this interview, which has been fantastic. And, we were talking about things to chat about, and he's like, man, just flow with it. The people, the followers will know that you both connect on the same level, and you have that passion and the love for what you do. They'll feel it in the way you speak, in your words. And just like you said there, it's like, you can talk, but people need to see and feel the passion and the love, whether you're a footballer trying to lead your team to a World Cup final, or you're a fitness coach trying to lead your team to win a league title. They have to, like you said, from the stories from the World Cup, they have to feel that buy-in, that love, and that passion. And like you said, the team will feel invincible, like after that speech from Lahm.
Yeah. All right. So should
But
we
yeah,
should we do another like 3 to 5 minutes answering questions, Rick? What do you think? Because people were
it's up
asking
to
for
you.
it.
I can stay as long as you want. It's up to you. You got kids. I'm a
No,
single
I'm
dude.
fine.
Just
I'm fine. Okay, so
yeah.
because I think 2 or 3 guys were asking if they could ask questions. So like go on and we will try to
Yeah.
answer them.
Yeah, I mean, if you so what I kind of wanted to end off with was I think we've said a lot of practical tips, a lot of practical advice. If you have anything else you want to add, you want to touch on, you can do that. And then if you want to scroll up and see if we got any good questions, we you can answer them, we can answer them. It's up to
Okay,
you.
let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Let
Boom,
me
boom,
check
boom.
on. I'm gonna write in the comment, ask questions if you have.
Okay, so yeah, let's do another like 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, and then I gotta bring my ask questions if you have. You're right. How you can get higher up from lower league to higher. Okay, now they're coming. All right. All right. I don't understand, Anthony 9. I don't understand your question, like how you can get up higher from lower league. Well, like this is what I just said, or we just said, Rick and I, like you gotta like wherever you are, if it's a low league or a high league, like do things with passion. And there might be a player that goes to another team and he will like one day call you and be like, hey guy, like you've done a great job there. We are looking now for somebody. It's about opportunities and be prepared for it. I think this is something. Then
And
we
I
have
kind of want to
Matze.
add on to that. I want to say, not to be disrespectful to anyone and any of my followers. It's like I post 2 to 3 times a day trying to give as much knowledge as I can. I pour it out there. So I'm a passionate guy. I've researched and learned everything from mentors, guys like Yann that I have on here. I'm so passionate and love what I do, and I give it out to you guys. I would just, I think I provide the information. Like you said, you got to have that passion and that drive. But you got to, if you believe in someone, I'm not telling you believe in me. I put the information out. You can look it up and see if it's true. But try to apply it. I always say, take bits from here, take bits from there, and apply it and see what it does for you. Because just reading things, like a big entrepreneur I love is Gary Vee, and he's like, you can read about push-ups as much as you want and the benefits of push-ups, but you're never going to see if you don't do the push-ups. And that's a simple example.
Yeah, right. All right, then there we have Matze asking what he should do. His season is, well, you're not alone, Matze. There's a lot of people out there having the same problem. There is a lot of good, but also a lot of bad content. I would say in this case, follow Rick's advice, because what I've seen from the ball drills and also the fitness drills that he gives to you guys, I think it's great. Have a plan. I think this is something I would have like given advice to you is, if you know it's going to be another 2 or 3 weeks, have a daily plan, what to do when, and not just randomly you do anything you see on Instagram. Right there. How I can get soccer when I'm older than 16. It's never too late to start. It's never too late. Like I've talked about Naldo, Brazilian player. I think he played professional soccer first time with 18 and made it to the Brazilian national team. So keep on. How would you describe your coaching philosophy? Wow, this is too much. This is too much.
You could go on for years with that.
How to be confident. Fitness suggestions. Football is any good for a player? Okay, it's go. Yeah, GPS. Let's talk like one last topic.
Interesting.
Talk about data and all these kind of things. I think because there is so many things out there, gadgets you can use and so forth. I think first of all, I do like the approach of test and then train and retest. Wherever you are, if it's in the last division or in the first division. But I think what I don't like is the approach of testing just because it's something fancy we're doing right now. So you got to have a goal why you're testing, and you got to test the right things. Um, so if you're only testing but not trying to apply or not applying the test results into your training, then it doesn't make any sense. And this is also something that happens also in the professional world of soccer. Actually, a little thing. Yeah, perhaps it's not a secret, but it's something I experienced, is that they're collecting a lot of data, and everybody's talking about big data. But who are the people that are really able to read the data and get good like results out of it and conclusions out of it? Because you can track so many things, but what does it really, like, does it really have an impact on how you train? And if it doesn't, then don't test it. Like, don't test just to test. So yeah. All right, Rick, I gotta go, man.
For sure. I really appreciate having you on. It's been great. And yeah, we'll talk. We'll keep in touch and keep helping people out. I really appreciate it.
I hope we see each other back in Israel as soon as they open everything. We have that playoff game still ahead of us because it was also canceled. So it's gonna be in June probably. So whenever I'm in Israel, I gotta reach out to you and go for a coffee.
For sure, man. Sounds
Thank you for having me.
Stay safe and stay healthy. See you.
All the best. Bye-bye. Bye.
People, thanks so much for coming on the live. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Stay healthy. I'll see you tomorrow.